Yes, y'all. I know. It's been a minute since you had some Taco Tuesday edition of I.O.W Sports, but hey, here we are to give the people what they want. Got to give the people what they want. Hey, Wildcard Mar in the building. Randy Wember is in the building. It's episode 495. Hey, a mixed bag of sports talk we got. All right, we can talk about a lot of stuff. We're gonna dive into some NBA topics, of course, some NFL topics, sprinkle in some NCAA topics in there, and we might even talk a little WWE. You never know, we might talk about on this Mitch bag of Taco Tuesday edition. So, without further ado, hey man, let's get to the show. It's I.O.W Sports Show, late night owl edition with your man Randy Weber. Wow, come on, let's go.
Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar.
Yes, sir. What's good? What's good, folks? Hey, we are back in the building. Your man Randy Weber is here. I am here. Wildcard Mar. It's Tuesday, so it's Taco Tuesday. We about to get it cracking. A lot of sports to talk about. The Giants can't hurt me on a bye week.
Or can they?
Or can they? Yeah. So, no. Well, that's wild. That's probably one of the most creative names that you probably dropped on here so far. That's pretty good right there. No, we'll definitely talk some NFL for sure. Speaking of the Giants. We'll talk, some NCAA. A lot of things have been happening since the last time me and Randy have been on the air. But one of the things that I wanted to definitely pick your brain about was that whole Chris Paul situation. CP3, what a P stands for pink slip. My man got his walking papers by the Clippers. To set it up, so he already announced that this was going to be his last year. He wanted to go back to LA. All right. His family pretty much has made that their around the calendar residential place. He wanted to be around his family. He's up there in age. He wanted to be close to his family for the majority of the season. And so at least two teams, Lakers, Clippers. All right. Obviously, history with the Clippers, cool. That made perfect sense. I don't know what's good. What do you make of this? I get it, especially those who watch a lot of basketball and pay attention to some of the talks that goes around. I get it. CP3 ain't the most easiest guys to get along with because he's very demanding because he wants to win. And he's gonna, not be shy of saying, speak his mind. Hey, where are you at in this whole, Clippers just clipping CP3 out of nowhere?
Okay, so I don't think that people are responding to this very emotionally. Very similar to the Damian Lillard cut with the Bucks. Like, oh man, like he came back for an injury, you and you're gonna do mans like this, and then he ended up going to Portland. Now CP3 on his retirement year is just like, oh, you're gonna cut him, you're gonna do mans like that. It is ultimately a business, and if you're not contributing, then you don't need to be on the team. It's not a charity. That's just how it is. That being said, I do think that the reasons he was cut, because he has been washed, he hasn't been good, and as the team hasn't been good. But them cutting him specifically for calling out their coaching, their management, their leadership, that's very indicative of the Clippers. And I think that that's more the story. It's not that they were in some way morally obligated to keep a washed player on their roster. It's, if you're doing this because you are trying to shield yourself from criticism, deserved criticism, because of how bad you were running this team with, I mean, what would have been a monster breaker roster in like 2017. Well, you know, everyone's old now. The decision to bring everyone in, like well past their prime, was not a good decision, clearly. And the Clippers don't know how to run an organization. CP3 is an experienced vet who, honestly, I would trust more than I would trust Tyronn Lue or Clippers ownership. And I don't think that they had an obligation to keep him on because he was not playing well. But I do think that it is indicative of a bigger problem within the organization of we will do everything wrong. And if you try to tell us that we're wrong, we'll cut you. I actually think one of the most fitting ways to end CP3's career would be him finally getting onto the Lakers for his last year.
Yeah, I can see that coming too.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to end it, like next to LeBron for his last year. I mean, obviously nowhere near what we were hoping for, but you know, just him in a Lakers jersey is to say that it happened.
Yeah, they about 8 years too late.
yeah, right. Like it's kind of like the John Cena heel turn. Like it's just nice that it happened.
No, I just thought. And shout out to Bobby. He already talked about it. Yeah, he not allowed to talk. Shador, we will talk Shador, but I'm gonna be.
You're gonna like what I'm gonna have to say. I'm sure Bobby will like what I have to say. I'm sure he's not gonna be mad at all.
No, but I will say this. It's just one of those things where me and Bobby were talking about it last Friday on Audible podcast. Shameless plug every Friday. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Audible podcast. You know, and I thought Bobby did a great job of breaking it down. Look, I get it. CP3 is going to be a little bit rough around the edges. He's going to call out people, but it's always in the nature of trying to improve the team to make it better to win, because that's what he wants to do. He wants it, knowing that this is his last year and knowing what CP3 is. He's like, this is my last opportunity to get that chip, man. I kind of want it. and
that's definitely not happening on the team.
No. That's not happening with that team, with the Clippers. They're just not good overall as a whole team. I mean, we kind of talked about it going into the NBA season. I was actually surprised at how bad they were. I was always had the reservations at the age of everybody, but like, you know, I mean, I predicted them to make the play-in and to win a game in the play-in. So I'm surprised by how bad they've been. I mean, they're going to need a lot to turn around, but you're talking about a lot of guys where, off of name recognition, I mean, 10 years ago, you were like, oh, who put this damn monster team together? But that's not the case right now with these guys. And I think they understand that. And obviously, you know, I'm pretty sure James Harden ain't trying to hear what CP3 got to say at this point in time in his career.
Harden is especially stubborn player to have in this situation. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kawhi's like, yeah, Chris, calm down. So I'm pretty sure he ain't trying to hear nothing. And you got a very vet savvy team. They ain't trying to hear another old vet trying to talk to them. Like, hey, boy, call all that noise down, simmer down.
But that's the thing, though. They do need it. Like, they're bad.
Yes, that's the thing, Randy.
Like, I'm sure that is how they feel, but that's stupid. They're bad.
That's the thing, Randy. You talking about? You just said it. It's still the Clippers. They still haven't been the most properly ran organization from the previous owner, the one that got forced to sell the team.
Mhm.
And I know Ballmer is going to try to throw money at everything and think it's going to fix everything, but it's shown that it's not going to fix everything.
No. And this team is really indicative of his philosophy of get a bunch of big names. Like, that has really been the way that the Clippers have moved, and that is how you get a team with all of these guys on it, because these are all very big names, even if they're not able to play winning ball right now.
Yeah.
And that, that's indicative of the rot within it. That's always been how they move. They try to make splash plays. The last time they brought in a bunch of like two really old guys that worked horribly, so they decided to double down on it.
gave up the future of Shea Gilgeous for PG. So yeah, and look, I guess some things just never change. Some Tigers just don't change their stripes. When you got an organization that's been just functionally bad for so long, you could change the pieces inside the room, but sometimes you just got to change the whole damn room.
Yep. No, that room's got to change.
That's just what it is at this point. I mean, you can go on in different other sports entities and look at the same example. The Raiders. I don't care what you say about the Raiders. They're just poorly ran. You got to change the whole room. It don't matter. Look, the Pete Carroll thing ain't working. All right. It don't matter. And we're talking about a Hall of Fame coach in Pete Carroll. And, he can't turn that situation around. It's just a bad situation. And so I get it. Chris Paul wanted to go back home. I kind of question why to go back to the Clippers because I just thought the future was more in with the Lakers. But at the same time, you got Luka and LeBron who pretty much act as the point guards. I guess I could see him coming off the bench, maybe playing 15 to 20 minutes and being a second line or third line point guard, maybe.
Yeah, that would be what he would have to do
if he's willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see Luka coming off the point guard roles or even LeBron.
No, yeah, they're both going to stay on ball. CP3 is going to have to. I mean, and it would make the most sense, right? CP3 would be by far the worst of the three of them right now. So that's where you'd put him. You'd put him on the bench.
Yeah, he definitely can't start. I can't start him.
Not over Luka.
No,
not over LeBron.
No. So I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. But that's actually to switch the gears up real quick because I think as we speak of LeBron, we're not one of those podcasts, and just to give y'all forewarning for those who are watching and listening, thank you again. Like, share, subscribe, share. We don't typically talk very heavy LeBron James, and that's for a reason here. Because one, he's already highly talked about on a regular basis. Two is how many conversations about LeBron can you really have?
Yeah, they've all been done to death. I still see the same arguments from people like so many years later. Everything's been talked about with him except this.
But like always, every year that LeBron has played in the NBA, there's some LeBron scrutiny. And this scrutiny over the last few weeks was because his record has since been broken of him going so many games, at least scoring a minimum of 10 points. But where the scrutiny comes in, Randy, is one of the games that he kept to keep alive is the Lakers were out of it, only nowhere close to winning it. It's fourth quarter. He's still in the game. and he's getting his points. And I do feel, and I can't wait to hear your follow up on this, Randy. Here's where I'm at. All right, I get it. It's probably a streak he wanted to keep. I don't care about having that many streaks of 10 plus. I don't care. All right, if LeBron cares, then that's his prerogative, and he probably was like, "Hey, man, let me get my streak, whatever." I just think it's like, damn, man, are we really nitpicking at LeBron over everything?
Yeah, I mean that's what people do.
I'm at.
Yeah, no, LeBron is for some reason, and there are things you could point to and be like, I don't like this thing about LeBron, like no party, like a Diddy party or whatever. But like as a basketball player, the visceral reaction that people have to LeBron, I've never really understood. I've largely chalked it up to like, well, Michael Jordan was their GOAT, was their idol, and they hate anyone that's coming after his throne, similar to Mahomes and Brady. But I mean, and I think that at least having 10 points as a record is one of those very weird streaks that, like,
Yeah,
would we talk about this if it was anybody but LeBron? Like,
what
10 points.
Track of that?
Whoever's averaging 10 points in the NBA is like not even a bench player quality. Like that's nothing.
But who's keeping track of that? Who cares?
Right. No, it's only because it's LeBron. And if he wants to get his streak in, I get it. I think that there's something to the criticism of, hey man, the game was out of balance anyway. It's better for the team if you rest now, don't risk another injury, and come back healthy. And prioritizing your own points is not doing anything for the team right now at that moment. I think that's a totally fair and valid criticism. Is it that big a deal? No, I don't think. I mean, coaches have kept starters in situations like that, and I think there's criticism that they deserve for it. But that's not like weird or that unique of a situation. It's only because it's LeBron and it has to do with the point streak. But yeah, I mean, it's. I wouldn't have done it. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people have lost their minds. I think they will use any excuse possible to hate something that LeBron does, and I do think that it's a little weird.
No, that plays a part to it. And you know me, Randy. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan.
Me either.
I've never been a big LeBron fan, and I definitely, now that he's been on my team since 2019, I definitely, I don't want to say come to affinity of liking him, but it's just more like I respect his career because you just gotta give a man his props.
Sure.
Playing in the league 20 plus seasons at an elite level.
Yeah, being all NBA for almost all of that.
All of that. Like, come on, bro. Like
probably all of that. At least all NBA caliber.
I'm just tripping. And Bobby says he also snapped the streak on the game winning assist when he could have easily taken the shot. They don't want to talk about that. That's a valid point as well.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. Like, does it really matter that much? I don't know. I just don't understand why it's such a people just want to fight about something. Like, why? Like, I don't get it. And yeah, I mean, you could say like, well, it's not as much of a sign that he's washed because he got an assist there. And yeah, sure, that's true. Whatever. Maybe the media did push him to prioritize it after the response to that. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like we're a very LeBron neutral podcast, and there aren't many of those where like either it's LeBron glazers or it's LeBron haters who like snarl at the thought of him, and it's just like, bro, like, well, he's a basketball player. Calm down.
There's never been a happy medium when it comes to talking about LeBron, and that's probably, and to be fair, I think that's probably the number one reason why we don't talk about him a lot here on I.O.W. Sports is because I don't want to be one of those podcasts that people come to where they're specifically either there to praise or hate on a certain individual. And I just can't do it. I refuse to do it. And, shout out to my podcast people that will specifically choose a LeBron to, catapult their likes and subs. Cool. By all means. I'm not hating the game because I understand how the algorithm game goes. Cool. LeBron is a very highly output algorithm. I understand that. But when we talk in sports, if we're not, if it's not really sports related, and to me, I don't think this is really, it is sports related, but it's like, come on, like, we really scrutinize a guy about a streak that nobody, who even knew this was a real streak?
Yeah, it's sports adjacent because it happens to be in sports, but it's not really analysis of any kind. It's just, it's just a thing. It's it's the equivalent of a Twitter post, but on like a podcast. It's like, relax. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Like, that's just where I'm at with the LeBron talk. And I mean, speaking of players that everyone has to have a very strong opinion on because Bobby brought him up, that would be a kind of a segue into the Shador talks if you want to talk about that.
Perfect timing. Had a hell of a game last week, and shout out to myself for picking him up on my fantasy squad. He got me 50 points last week. But
Me too. Yeah, that was I had a feeling, and I was right. He saved one of my weeks when all I had was Geno Smith left, and
Oh,
I just wasn't going to do that to myself.
oh Lord,
Ironic that they were opponents in that game.
don't do that.
Yeah. But okay, so what did you think of the Browns Titans game, and what did you think of the surrounding talk about the Browns Titans game?
Well, I'm gonna say this. Hey, look, being pro Shador Sanders does not blind me for the fact that it is what it is when it comes to him. Do I agree with some of the situations he's been in? I don't agree with it, but I understand. He's still was he a fifth round talent? Absolutely not. He's been showing that he wasn't a fifth round talent. It is what it is. The draft has been done long time ago. We're about to be in week 15. So I'm not going to rehash shit that's already been beat like a dead horse. At the end of the day, Shador Sanders has brought a lot of talk to Cleveland, the franchise that rightfully probably doesn't deserve it.
Sure, and it's no, exactly. And I mean, the talk, all of it has to do with the weird decision making around Shador. So okay, so people who wanted to praise Shador for this game praised Shador, and people who wanted to hate Shador hated Shador, and that was always going to be the thing, right? Like in the Browns versus the Raiders, the response from the pro Shador people was he won. He won. His stat line wasn't impressive, but he had some crazy nice bombs and throws that didn't show up on the stat sheet.
He brought some excitement to an offense that a lot of people been wanting to see.
Right, exactly. Like
Gabriel.
Yeah, like that throw to Isaiah Bond that set them up for the Wildcat doesn't show up on Shador's record. So like people can nitpick the Simpson touchdown, the screen pass, but at least that evens out. And now with this game, like, well, he lost.
Well,
and we're going to talk about the context around him losing, but like the talk has been
we'll talk about that. But I can't gloss over his performances against San Francisco. It was okay.
It was okay. Yes, I agree.
He left some stuff on the table.
He did.
But
I still think he was better than Dylan Gabriel, but that's not the standard right now, or it shouldn't be.
But my main point is to be what we've always been fair about with Shador in here, even though we have both proclaimed to be pro Shador fans. We've also been fair in the criticism when it comes to him holding on to the ball too long, taking bad sacks, and that's always been going back to Jackson State.
Right.
So this is nothing new. All right.
And I mean, there's lots of great quarterbacks that have that criticism. Aaron Rodgers had that criticism. Joe Burrow had that criticism, right? Like it's not something that would stop you from being an NFL starter. Not at least on its own, but obviously you have to work it out and limit it as much as possible, like they both did. So Shador had over 300 yards, I think 364, like closer to the 400 mark, 4 touchdowns. He did have that bad interception, and he deserves criticism for that bad interception. It was a big mistake. However, he played so much better than any quarterback the Browns have had since I can remember in that game alone. That I don't understand. I don't understand how you don't look at this and plan to build around him rather than planning to replace him. And to what people are going to say, he lost. He lost, and it was against the worst team in the NFL. It was against a team whose only other win this season was a win that the Cardinals basically gave them. And is it that impressive to look good against the Titans? Well, it is when the Titans, who have been a bottom 2 offense in the NFL, averaging about 15 points, put up 31 points on the heads of what's been an elite defense so far, with the Depoy and D-Roy favorites on the defense, with someone who might break the sack record on the defense. What was been the bottom 2 offense in the NFL put 31 on that defense, which is not something that Shedeur has any control over. The interception did help set a score up for them, but Shedeur more than made up for it with what should have been a game-tying comeback. And Shedeur was taken off of the field for the Wildcat, which became its own whole conversation piece. And it is weird because Stefanski wasn't known for being a big Wildcat user at any point before getting Shedeur, to my knowledge. And I can understand the plausible deniability, the counterpoint of, well, he was bad on the first the first 2-point conversion, and when they did do Wildcat in the Raiders game, it worked. So if he wants to make the argument like we did that for that reason, I can kind of understand that. I do think that it is weird that all of a sudden you're messing around with Wildcat that much when you never did to this degree at any point I can remember.
Hey, Randy, let's just cut this shit, man. Timing is everything. All right? And the timing of pulling Shedeur is what is really the fireable offense.
It was a bad call. The question is how much of it is Stefanski actively just being stubborn about Shedeur versus a real football play that just looked bad in context. And I think there's a conversation to have about that.
You can't give me an explanation to explain that. You got the hot hand and you take him off the field.
I agree. I wouldn't have done it either. My point is, I think it's important to look at what the defense would be, and Stefanski didn't really give this, but the defense would be, we had a 2-point conversion with him, and he messed it up, and we ran Wildcat, and it worked the most recent time we ran it.
Man, he better have the most imaginative defense for that one, because I'm still scratching my head at, if I got the hottest hand, I keep him on the field.
No, and I agree.
I'm just
of course, and I don't think that, you're running Wildcat at that point in the game with somebody who's not a quarterback. And, I don't think that it made a lot of sense. I do think that there's still serious stubbornness when it comes to Shedeur that has been really hard to defend. Apparently, the Browns are still thinking about, or still are leaning towards, we're going to end up drafting a quarterback next year. Which depending on how Shedeur plays the rest of the season, it would be a waste if you fucked yourself over with that Deshaun Weinstein contract. You now have the worst contract in sports history, and you still have it. You don't want to offset it a little bit by keeping your 5th round, getting paid pennies quarterback who's been good enough to be a starter. We're not talking. He doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes. He can be Bo Nix, and you could win with a Bo Nix. If he's at least that good, he's an NFL starter.
I mean, Cleveland,
especially with the elite defense and run game that they have. If they just get a good pass game, also, they could do damage with Shedeur.
I'm with you, but if there's anything that has been proven with this franchise, is what you should do sometimes isn't necessarily what they think they should do.
Right.
Look, I'd have been, me personally, I think Shedeur is your quarterback. Obviously, you're going to try to find a way to finally get off of that Deshaun contract. You said that Deshaun Weinstein?
Yes, Deshaun Weinstein.
Yeah, that took me out when I heard that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and they can't get out for that contract. There's even talks that they might start him next year just because they're so financially tied, which would be insane. But again, it is the Browns.
I mean, it's a fully guaranteed contract. So at some point in time, that money, either you use the guy or you find a way somebody to take over the contract. And
no one's going to do that. It has negative value. Nobody's going to take that with everything between him, how expensive it is, how bad he was with it, his injuries, and all of the PR concerns of bringing him on. Like, it would be insane for any team to look at him, even the ones that need quarterbacks. So they're stuck with him.
Look, I don't. I hear you. I think your plan is a common sense plan, or what a common sense person would think of. Hey, the guy's showing pretty well. They just announced that they're going to let him finish out the season. So he gets the Bears, who defense is solid, but they are one of the best in taking the ball away. So he has to protect the football.
Yeah, if he ends up with like a bad interception stat line, like that's gonna hurt his chances for sure.
Bills, who in my opinion, I don't think their defense is that great. They definitely that actually might be a Quinton Junkins game because they're pretty terrible against the run. No, Adam in the middle,
right?
But
I don't think anyone expects him to win that game. But if you do it against their defense,
if you get Quinton going and get that play action going and get him moving out the pocket, pretty much having the run game dictated and just have him make a few throws, less than 30 attempts, that might be a solid game for him.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, whose defense is non-existent this year, so there's an opportunity to get right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Cincinnati, who we know about their defensive woes. They can give up some points and some yardage. So looking down the stretch, I mean, honestly, this next game against Chicago, well, for me, in my opinion, is going to be the one because if he can keep it clean on the turnover point, because they're number one in the league at getting the ball defensively. So they're going to test him right there. See if you can be clean with the football. And more times than not, in his whole career between Jackson State and Colorado, Shedeur was relatively clean with the football. Again, does he need to clean up, hold on to the ball too long? Yes. Trust him open reads. Does he not take, don't take the bad sacks? Absolutely. Those are still things that had, look, again, Tigers don't change their stripes. They were a problem, coming up in the game. Now that he's in the NFL, it's still an issue. Yes. Does he need to improve on it? Yes. But Tigers don't change their stripe. What you try to do is minimize those things. So that's all you can really do. And I think Shedeur is smart enough to understand that. And I will praise him on this. And I don't do a lot of glazing on this show, but the fact that he's been answering the questions so professional, whether he means it or not, he's answering it in a very professional way. And most quarterbacks I know wouldn't be able to, comprehend that some of these guys are trying to fall you to a word salad.
He's clearly smart, like the way that he didn't take the bait for the Stefanski dig.
Yeah,
like he clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily agree with for his benefit, not because I think that it shows bad character. I don't, but for his own benefit, I don't agree with every decision he makes. But he's clearly smart, and he's clearly smart enough to know when someone is trying to get a clip out of him, right? Like having one of the most polarizing football players as a father will help with that.
Yeah. Come on, you already knew one of the first things that Prime was going to groom him on is, hey, man, don't fall for the traps.
Yep.
Don't fall for the traps. All eyes on you at all times. And all this and all that. There was no doubt about that. But I wanted to definitely make sure that he gets his recognition on him from being a professional about the situation, knowing that some of these guys are trying to trap him into some more word mumbo jumbo. But hey, that's just the name of the game. And another person that's been around the game as we kind of recap NFL Week 14. So the Daniel Jones injury to the Colts was bad.
Yes, it was, and I told them, I warned them. Not necessarily specifically about the injury, but he did have a pretty bad injury history with us.
Yeah. And then, of course, Anthony Richardson, and typical Anthony Richardson, no shade thrown. I'm just being honest. He can't stay healthy. He had a freak accident, popped the cord in his orbital bone and broke it. That's such a freak accident. But and I'm not trying to be funny. It does speak to him missing time again. I mean, that's been his knock since he's been in the league. Because he got drafted very high with limited reps at Florida. He wasn't. I think he had 1 year as a starter. So you knew he was going to be a development project. He can't stay healthy, so they had to go to Riley Leonard. And you know,
he also got hurt. That's rough.
Yeah, not only did he get hurt, but no disrespect to Riley, but if you can play defense against Tim Tebow, you can play defense against Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
So imagine this, being 44 years old and you're a granddad. He's a pop. Where are you going? Well, son, I gotta dust his old shoulder pads and helmets off and get ready. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's
Pop gotta go play ball.
Yeah. No, and I said this at the time when they made the Sauce Gardner trade, when they gave up their next 2 firsts. I said that was a horrible decision. I know that he'd been playing mostly very well up to that point, but we've seen him have streaks of good play before, especially early in seasons that then came off. In his 2022 run, the team ended up 9-8 because he started off really hot and then started to simmer down. Not to the degree he did here, but
yeah,
he did. He has very significant injury history. He missed most of his last 2 seasons with us. You had to do so much around him to make him work, with Jonathan Taylor having like a Hall of Fame season and one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You know, you had to set it up so perfectly for him. And then for you to look at that with such a small sample size and say, we don't need these firsts for the next 2 years. We'll take a corner. Daniel Jones has proven enough. They learned nothing. They learned nothing from watching us do the same thing.
We said they learned nothing.
They learned nothing. And now I don't know what they do. I don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. I know he's out for this season, so they don't really even get to look at him anymore. So they don't really know what they have with him. He was horrible in the Steelers game and bad basically from that point on, the one right before they made the trade. And he's been bad since. Their streak has cooled down tremendously. The Texans look like they might be the best team in that division now. Jaguars possibly also. And, you know, he might now you're stuck with him. I don't know what you do now. It's just, you don't trade 2 firsts for any non-quarterback. It's just not worth it. And Sauce also with his systemic injury, which you can't predict that outside 2020, but like, it's just not worth it for a corner.
Yeah, the Colts, that injury bug has put a huge halt to how that season has went for them. And they had a commanding lead over the South, and now it's at a point where they're fighting to even just stay in recognition to a playoff spot.
Unless you, I'll preface my last statement, like, unless you already have a star quarterback. If you're and I mean, not that either of them have necessarily played like it consistently, but if you're the Bills or the Ravens, I think if you're doing a trade like that, it makes some sense. They both needed the defensive help. They both are not going to need those first. They're going to be late anyway. They have the quarterbacks, etc. Bills were not in that position.
But they've lost to both the Texans and the Jaguars. So
yes,
that doesn't bode well for tiebreakers when it comes to divisions. That's for damn sure. So. I don't know. It's crazy how quick that division turned around that quick. A 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, man, pop gotta go suit up, baby boy. I gotta go. Right.
I am very curious to see what he'll look like on the field. That is crazy.
I mean, I don't. Obviously, I'm not around Phillip Rivers, but I mean, we do know he stays relatively in shape because he got all them kids, so he get his hunch on. That's
Yeah,
for sure. So
that's true.
that's a form of workout. So he
It's the only workout he's had in quite some time, right? But certainly hasn't had reps.
Hey, yeah. So now when it comes to throwing the football, I don't know how many reps he's been getting, but I do know that if I remember, he was at least around high school football. I think he was coaching high school football, if I remember correctly, at least recently. So don't quote me on that, but damn, and you're getting to that point, you got to get Pop off the couch.
That's where they're at, and unless he has like a weird Joe Flacco run,
If he goes off and Lord,
if he and it look also like Joe Flacco, even in that Browns year where he looked ridiculous off the couch, like, well, that he had at least been in the NFL. Rivers has not for like 5 years.
yeah.
So that's not even necessarily likely.
With 2020 COVID,
Yeah. And he looked horrible the last time we saw him.
I don't know about that one, Coach. Like, okay, we'll see. What else is going on in the league? I was actually
Your team. I'm sure you don't want to talk about them.
talk about them. Okay, well, I obviously, me and my man Chris Dow, shout out to him, Airhead Chief Podcast, the other podcast that I normally do on Tuesdays, dedicated to the Chiefs. Look, obviously, I'm not gonna go too in depth. You can check out everything that I said over there. This is just unusual, but I need to preference what I'm about to say for everybody who's not a lifelong Chiefs fan like me. Pre Patrick Mahomes, this is a typical Chiefs season.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to growing up getting the ups and downs, shoot myself in the foot. Then 1 week we look unstoppable, then we look like trash the next week. And so I'm used to the roller coaster up and down. All right. This is a typical Chiefs season.
Yeah.
Now, since getting Patrick Mahomes, this is not a typical Chiefs season where we got literally the people who you normally depend on are usually the ones that are shooting ourselves in the foot. And I'm not going to use injuries as an excuse because this week 14 just passed in NFL. Everybody beat the hell up. That's not an excuse at this point in time. So, look, I think it's a little complacency going on in this organization because I think it's more than players. I think it's just an organizational thing right now. Complacency. They've been at a lot of Super Bowls, won some, and I think they're starting to get to that complacent part in their run where it was like, we got Patrick. We've been to Super Bowls. He'll get us there. And it's kind of like...
Right. The players and teams that do this kind of regular season, like just sitting, and then they wait for the playoffs to turn it on, your Jimmy Butlers of the world, your Jamal Murrays of the world, Tim Duncan some years. Like, it doesn't work because you need the seed. Like, it's not the regular season doesn't not matter. You need the seed. You need to get there in the first place. Like, you can't just coast. Like, yeah, last year they coasted insanely well, but that's not sustainable. And Patrick Mahomes, and I'll preface this by saying that I think to the people who are saying like this is like insane damage to Mahomes' legacy, he'll never reach Tom Brady now. Like, that's ridiculous. Tom Brady missed the playoffs some years too.
It didn't happen often, but
yeah, and having a streak of 7 years where you don't get eliminated any earlier than the AFC Championship game is unreal. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So for it to end in year 8 of his career, that like we have to be realistic. Like, we're comparing him to somebody who also missed the playoffs some years. Like, stop it. But that being said, Mahomes has not looked like Mahomes this year. He's had individual games where he's looked phenomenal, but he's been on and off, not very consistent, and not always against really good defenses either. Like, yes, he's had drops. The receivers have gone back to dropping the ball. But even if you look at his like adjusted numbers, where they factor that in, they still don't look very good in a lot of these games.
I'll say this about Mahomes, and I've never been shy to give him the real and uncut criticism. He sucks at throwing the deep ball. Absolutely sucks at throwing the deep ball this year for sure. I don't know what's going on. For him, that was his like magic card, especially when he had Tyreek. Throwing the deep ball was nothing for him. I don't know what happened. He's been throwing some. He's either overthrown or underthrown this year. It has been his thing. Now, is he still capable of making the plays? Of course, that's still damn Patrick Mahomes. But where the problem lies with him is, even if you're watching the game Sunday night, and I get it, that's a good defensive front. That's a good defensive Houston Texas team. And only thing you can ask for is for your O-line is to hold up. And I thought the O-line held up pretty well for the Chiefs on Sunday night. And there's just some times where Patrick Mahomes, he gets antsy, doesn't trust his squad. And I don't know if that's the case. I'm just, that's just what it looks like because he's not stepping up in the pocket and being firm and letting it rip. And he's trying to always throw off platform, and that's not going to do it every time. And
what do you think of the decision for Reed to go for?
Oh my God, I absolutely. So here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive, but there is a such thing as a coach trying to be too damn smart, and they kill the momentum. Now, granted, Rashee Rice, you got to catch the football. Granted, because if he catch that football, we're not having this conversation.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is that your defense has been pretty much pitching a shutout in the second half, been dominating the second half, being just as competitive as a Houston, Texas defense. And it's 10:50, 10 and a half, at least 10 and a half minutes left in the quarter. Why are you putting your defense in that situation? And why are you putting your offense in that situation? You're not even at the 40. You're at, I think at was he at the 30 or the 35 or something like that? Yeah. You're deep in your own territory, and you got that much time left. You play the field position. You don't give them a short field because your defense has shown that they can't move the football on them this whole second half.
Yeah. No, it's I totally agree. I had the same thought. Like you're playing against a team that has an elite defense and a bad offense. You can hold that offense up.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know why you would make it so easy for that offense at that moment. That is kind of crazy to me. And yes, also like your receivers had been dropping passes the whole game before that.
I get that, Randy, that they were dropping passes. But the fact of the matter is you saw the offense start getting in the rhythm because they started playing off how the defense started dominating. So when you literally put your offense and ask them to go make a play, I thought that was wild is because they haven't been showing that they can make the play or be the one of the team to lead the spark. The defense was holding that game down for the Chiefs.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like the offense had not looked like an offense
exactly
in that position. That's because in part of the receivers dropping passes. So the fact that one of them dropped a pass again is not
that situation. Exactly. I'm 1,000% with you in that scenario right there where you can't put your offense in a situation to expect them to make a play when they have already shown that they are not capable of making plays right now.
Right.
When the defense has been showing that, hey, the only thing the defense didn't do was get the turnovers.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like CJ Stroud looked absolutely lost in that game for big stretches of that. Like he was like overthrowing people.
Now he did make a couple of plays in that second half that I was kind of irritated with the defense. I'm like, yo, y'all worked your asses off to get them to this 3rd and long, and you let them convert. And I'm like, yeah, bro. So I will give CJ Stroud his credit on some of those throws deep in that late in that fourth quarter. Where I was like, okay,
sure. But he had not looked like a quarterback that I would look at and be like, it's not like classic Mahomes. Or like if I put the ball in his hands in this game, he's marching all the way down the field, right?
They said he only completed 3 passes in that second half, and all 3 of those was conversions.
Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, very weird decision making from Reed there. And yeah, I mean, you still technically can make the playoffs, but it's not looking like it. What do you do? You go from there when Travis Kelce leaves to go be a house husband, and
I'm okay. But the problem is that they and me and Chris were talking about it. I think it's and I agree with what he said. It goes to making sure that the organization starts looking at their philosophies a little bit different, because Andy Reid has to do his job at being a better play caller. Absolutely, situational awareness and all that stuff that he's always been toted about being one of the best. Well, start acting like it, bro. Because now I'm starting to feel like this is starting to be looking like that back half of when he was in Philly, where it's kind of like that inconsistent shit. Then next thing you know, that man's out of a job. And I'm not saying that he should get fired. What I'm saying is that I guess the complacency of being at the mountaintop is got y'all feeling yourselves a little bit too much. And I think y'all need to get rooted, get grounded. And maybe missing the playoffs might snap a little, all right, yeah, we've been, smelling ourselves a little bit too much. And because if you've been that team at the top for these last 7 years, what do you think every other 31 teams in the league are trying to do? Inherently, they're trying to find a way to beat the guys that's been at the mountaintop for the last 7 years.
Yeah, for sure. And I also wanted to ask what you thought about this. So, because Travis Kelce very likely is retiring after this season, do you think this would be for the draft, a good Kenyon Sadiq destination? How would you feel about that? Go back to the Mahomes throwing to the middle to a big tight end.
Well, to be honest,
that's worked.
If you look at this comment right here from Crafty Southpaw, shout out to Crafty, man. Hey, love you, man. You've always been very supportive over the last few months. And I agree with that statement because I think Rashee Rice is supposed to be the guy that's supposed to take over those intermediate middle routes from once Kelce. Because to be honest, Rashee Rice is the number one option right now. And he should be, because he's supposed to be the future. And if you look at some of his route concepts, they're almost very similar to being, zone beaters like Travis. Now, obviously, you're not trying to replace a Hall of Famer at the actual tight end position is going to be hard to do. We know that,
of course.
But the fact of the matter is just that it needs to be Rashee Rice, as in he has to, because that wasn't just his first drop this season where he dropped some, crucial passes. All right.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were to say, if this were to be the Kenyon Sadiq situation right there,
and I wouldn't hate that.
You're taking a lot of pressure off of Rice to be that guy. If Sadiq ends up working out, he doesn't have to be a Hall of Famer, but if he's the next line of like Tyler Warren's, then like you're good.
Obviously, we'll see how the season plays out, and we'll see the draft order at the end. Obviously, Chiefs normally are usually picking at the back end of the first round. But
even if you're not used to scouting for the
I'm not players. Scouting to the mid part. So I'll say this: even if you don't get Sadiq, I've always a component of, hey, maybe a change of scenery from somebody like a Kyle Pitts, still kind of obviously age-wise, it's still in your factor as a team and a player, where he's still relatively young and he's really got NFL experience. I'm just saying,
I'm sure with his production, he probably will be relatively cheap, and
exactly
your play callers for using him are going to be much better than the ones he had in Atlanta.
Oh, without a doubt, and so I wouldn't be a Debbie Downer on that option if they decide. Look, at the end of the day, this is just a season where the Chiefs are just not themselves. Very undisciplined, very complacent, very shooting themselves in the foot type of team this year, and it's it's everybody. Everybody with a damn arrowhead on their logo or their helmet or their sweatshirt, whatever. If they get a paycheck with an arrowhead on it, everybody involved in it. It's just not living up to the standard of what's been going on since you got Patrick Mahomes in the building.
Do you think this season for Josh Allen for the Bills is a Super Bowl or bust season now? He's never had an easier path to the Super Bowl than he does this year.
We was just talking about that.
the guy who stopped him 4 years straight might not even be there. His contemporaries in the Big Four,
exactly,
both might not be there.
No, Burrow's not making it. They're 4-9. They're not making it.
Yeah. The Ravens might just because their division is weak, but Lamar does not look like Lamar. So,
the Ravens are 6-7. They still got some work to do.
Right? So even if you get either of them, that's not necessarily like those aren't world beaters you're playing against this year.
Yeah, and the Ravens have to win that division, because if they don't, they're not a top 17.
No.
So they got to win that division, and that's also pressure on Pittsburgh to maintain their lead now that they got the tiebreaker over Baltimore.
Yep.
So that division, those two teams right there are going to be crazy. But you bring up a great point. We were just talking about it earlier on the other podcast. There's no, it's not looking good for Patrick. It's not looking good for Lamar. Burrow won't be there. So if that's the case, that you and the Buffalo Bills are in the playoffs, and you can have a scenario where the Steelers win that division, that automatically puts Baltimore out. And the Chiefs can't win the AFC West. So they literally had to get in on the wild card with some help.
Right. And the other teams that would be on the AFC side, you have the Broncos, you have the Patriots, you have either Baltimore or the Steelers, you have the
Chargers, Texans,
and
Jaguars for right now.
And so those are beatable teams. Like the Broncos and Texans defense might give Josh Allen real problems, like the Texans defense did earlier this season.
And that's right. Yeah.
But these are all you're not going against the prime Chiefs right now. Like all of these teams are beatable teams. Like
that goes back to the conversation we've always had.
That's rough.
That goes back to the conversation we've always had about Sean McDermott. If you can't get that, if you can't get to the Super Bowl with that path clearly so cleared for you, without the Grim Reapers of quarterbacks that's been just a pain in your ass.
We better start talking about Josh Allen like we've been talking about Lamar. Like I get that Allen has better playoff stats, but if he gets into the playoffs like this and can't even make the Super Bowl, like he needs to get some of that flame that Lamar's gotten.
And I'm with you, but I'm gonna actually throw Josh Allen some bail right now. And I normally don't do this because I think Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, and Sean McDermott are not doing the Buffalo Bills any justice. And here's what I mean by that. I get you want to put the cape on Josh Allen and want to say, hey, this is our offensive game plan, is have Josh be our hero, be our Superman. And I get that. But you got to realize the temperature in the room, all right? And understand that James Cook is a dog at running back, and when he gets that offense going, it looks so different.
Yeah, a couple of fumbles aside.
Well, hey.
No, I'm saying that legitimately. I'm not taking a shot. Like a couple of fumbles aside, he's been phenomenal.
It happens, time to time it happens. But like you said, this man James Cook has. I think he has at least 2 games when the man put up 2 bills.
Yeah. He's done a great job, and the Bills have looked better with the ball in Cook's hands.
Offense looks so much better when they run the offense through James Cook first.
Yes, and then have Allen do superhero shit when needed.
After the fact.
Yes.
I'm with you. And I keep screaming it at the top of my podcast mountain, like, we y'all understand Buffalo Bills, coaching staff, that offense runs so much better when you make it a focal point to get James Cook to cook and let Josh pick up the scraps.
What do you think it says? And this isn't like I recognize how great Josh Allen is, at least like overall. But what do you think it says about him? Because Jalen Hurts, and I think deservedly, gets a lot of slack, gets a lot of attacks because the offense basically only works when he's spending most of it handing the ball off and getting his tush pushed and all of that shit. Like when it's time for him to dominate through the air, it looks so much worse. And what that, having the least rush attempts last year, what that tells everyone is like, well, okay, you're a product of the people around you, not yourself. And I think that's fair, and I think that's justified. Does Josh Allen not deserve to get looked at, considering how much better the offense is through James Cook than through himself this year?
He definitely deserves criticism because, there's still going to be moments that Josh Allen is going to be Josh Allen.
Yeah,
and because perfect example, that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers about 3-4 weeks ago, the man started off making bonehead turnovers, looking like a scrub.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, the man rails off 6 touchdowns. So that's the thing that comes with Josh Allen. I mean,
he's like Brett Favre. He's boom or bust.
The erratic play, exactly. The boom or bust is erratic as hell, but like the rewards are big rewards, but the downfall are bad mistakes, bad turnovers, bad sacks.
Right.
It like one of those sacks against Houston, the dude was running. What are you doing running 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage, holding on to the ball to throw the ball away, bro?
Yep.
Like, what are you doing?
And, obviously, before anyone thinks that what I'm saying is that Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are the same, they're not. Josh Allen's obviously much better, but I think that it's important to look at when the team's offense is significantly improved by taking the ball out of a quarterback's hands.
Now, here's my problem with Jalen Hurts. I think you're actually a phenomenal quarterback. It's just that you're not a consistent phenomenal quarterback.
Phenomenal's a lot.
Well, no. When Jalen Hurts is on,
he can be on. That's true. I think you could say that about a lot of people. The matter is how often he's on when the team needs him to be. I don't think he does that a lot.
Hey,
he's had his moments.
Jalen Hurts is my J.R. Smith. Because when J.R. Smith get popping, he'll drop 50 on your head.
Yeah.
When J.R. Smith get popping, he'll drop an easy 30, 40 on you.
But Jalen Hurts does also deserve a big brink of the criticism for the way the Eagles have been, because it's very similar 2 years ago. The Eagles collapsed once Jalen Hurts lost the support that was holding him up. When it was all on him, he couldn't do it. Last year, it was all on Saquon and the offensive line, and yet they had the number one defense, and so they won a lot. He had the least pass attempts in the NFL. Now this year, they need him to be a hero again because Saquon's not doing it. The offensive line's not doing it.
And that was a point I was about to get at, Randy. Right there. All right, so I'm gonna actually throw Jalen Hurts some bail. His team is actually set up the way that I wish the Buffalo Bills were set up. They are a run-first team.
Yes.
All right. The problem is that what's the difference between last year and this year? There's no 2,000-yard rusher going on this year, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and
if you need a 2,000-yard rusher next to you, like, how good are you individually?
And so here's my thing.
Same thing with Daniel Jones this year with Jonathan Taylor.
We've seen Jalen Hurts come up to big plays. We've seen him have good games. But this year, it's like, bro, you're missing the throws that are just right there. I can't explain it. Look, because I've always been a big Jalen Hurts fan. And I thought if he can, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the play calling. I just think they got to get back to their fundamentals of the run game, because that's how they were built. And whether it's Saquon getting it, I don't know if they need to utilize the RPO a little bit more and Jalen to get it going. It needs to get back to that, because that's what opens up Devontae. That's what opens up AJ.
Yeah.
That's what opens up Dallas, is because now when you have a threat of, I got to stop either Jalen Hurts or first and foremost, I got to stop Saquon, because Saquon's still capable of still breaking one.
Yeah. No, and I mean, that's why he won the Super Bowl, because like he had a great game, but the defenders were all in the box trying to stop Saquon. That opened him up for sure.
Yeah. So I look, I just think, and from some of the Eagles people that I know, of that fan base, you're not happy with Kevin Patullo, but at the end
No.
of the day,
I think it was it him or that someone put a bat in his house? Was that him or was that Schottenheimer? I remember hearing that story.
hey, they not a fan of bro. I heard they egged his house.
Yes. Yeah, Schottenheimer was the bat one. The eggs one was Patullo. And look, I mean, that's just what the Eagles fan base is right there. That's not saying a coordinator's never deserved that, but
yeah, 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 and that's a true point right there, Crafty Southpaw. I will say that,
which is also what we just said about Josh Allen.
Yeah, because he's had his fair shares of OCs as well, and I know he's had a couple of years with Joe Brady now, but it's kind of like I don't know what I don't know why they changed the philosophy of what they were trying to do in Buffalo. There literally should be Philly, as in get your run game going. But Jalen Hurts is just not accurate this year. He's just not, and we got to call a spade a spade. Any other year, I'm like, yeah, Jalen Hurts, because I value winning, and he makes the plays when it matters for the most part. Right. But that throw last night,
it's a lot like. It's to compare. It's basically a Bo Nix situation, right? Like you have an elite defense, and like, do I think that Jalen Hurts is better than Bo Nix? Yeah, but you have a situation where you have a defense and an offensive line making your job as easy as possible. You're not consistent, but you make the plays when they matter most.
Yeah,
and obviously you could win with that. They did win with that, but it's tricky when you enter spells like this where you need a quarterback who can step up and be the guy and carry the team on his back. And Hurts has never proven that he can do that.
But any other
Mahomes done it, Allen has done it. Burrow did, Lamar did it. Hurts is just not that caliber. Stafford did it. Like he's just not that caliber of player.
Oh my God, I just have a hard time, especially when it comes to Philly. I don't know if they could beat Green Bay with that offense. That defense is too good.
Yeah.
If they saw the Rams again, the Rams should have had that game.
Yes.
I don't know if they could beat the Rams right now. I don't even know if they could beat Seattle.
And that's the thing. They probably will make the playoffs just because of the division there, and I don't think the Cowboys are going to catch them. I think they theoretically could. That's very unlikely.
Yeah, but you got to have a complete collapse for Dallas to catch them.
They're not having a little bit of a collapse. I mean, I get it. The Bears and Chargers are both good teams. It's not, but they lost to my Giants, and I would like everyone to remember that.
I'm just I don't know. It's tough for me.
But like, if they get into the playoffs, which I think they probably will, who's the team that you're just like, they're going to beat this team? Maybe the Panthers if they squeeze their way into there. Like, then yeah, I would pick the Eagles. But outside of that, I don't. If Baker is still hurt and playing like he did this past week, then sure.
Maybe Tampa. Yeah, that's about it. But because as of right now, they would face San Francisco,
and they should beat San Francisco, but a lot of teams should have beaten San Francisco.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like San Francisco, for them, for all the injuries they got, they scrappy.
Yeah. And that's true. They got that Shanahan coaching doing the lead there.
Magic.
So if you end up getting the 49ers and you don't beat them, like you need serious changes in that locker room. And I don't know what they do with AJ Brown. I think it's hard not to justify not keeping a receiver of that caliber, especially when your quarterback really needs that. But fighting for those touches and then causing losses of games. It's like that meme with the guy in the hot dog cart that like drove through the wall, and the guy in the hot dog costume is like, we're all looking for that guy. We're looking for the problem. Who's the problem? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you do with AJ Brown now.
And I don't even think that's a conversation. I just think y'all better have a conversation, have a sit down talk with whoever needs to talk to who and work this thing out because AJ ain't going nowhere. If I'm GM,
Yeah, I'm sure he probably won't, but it's something they have to think about. Like, how much of a haul could you get for him? You still have Smith,
and somebody would literally have to call you and say, "Man, I'm willing to do this right now for AJ."
Yeah, willing to give 2 firsts, or a first and another good wide receiver to put.
You were like, say what? Yeah, AJ, man. Yeah, I know what I said last week, but homie just offered me this. I gotta take this.
You also could just ignore him. Like, this is the weirdest part about this whole situation.
Yeah, but,
I don't know why.
Well,
hold on. If you're Petula and you've been winning, you've had a team that's been winning,
yeah,
because you've been running the ball. Why do you care if AJ Brown is pouting? Why do you care if he's tweeting? Like, just ignore him and run this strategy that's been working. If he doesn't like it, then like, oops, you're under contract. Like, I don't understand why they have to change their offensive scheme to appease a guy who just wants the ball more. If you know it isn't, especially after the first game they tried it and they lost.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I was kind of really leading to. I'm like, who cares what he says? I mean, I don't think he's really being disrespectful. He's just saying something that I think probably most fans would say, like, hey, we don't look the same on offense. That's pretty much all he's been saying.
And also, I want to get the ball more.
Well, I mean, hey, as a fan, wouldn't you want AJ Brown to get the damn ball?
It hasn't been working. Like we both said, it's best by far as a run-first offense. And they were winning when they were a run-first offense. AJ didn't have the touches. But he still had second team All-Pro like the past 3 seasons with the Eagles. Like, he needs to, like, he hasn't had the yards that other guys have had, but like that's because Jamar Chase with the Bengals, like, well, he needs to throw the deep ball constantly. His defense is giving up a ton of points all the time. Like, you're just not in that situation. And if you care about winning, then you have to be like, look, if running the ball leads us to winning, like, I'll gladly take my like 50 yards a game and shut the fuck up. Like,
I mean, look, the man has pretty much only one season where he didn't get 1,000 yards. All right, so he's used to a certain amount of production. His lowest output is 869 yards on 105 targets, 63 receptions, 5 tutties. So that's his floor.
Yeah.
Right?
Was that with the Eagles?
No. That was his 3rd season in Tennessee.
Okay.
But other than that, the man's been putting up 1,000 yards minimum and at least a minimum of 5 tutties. So, and we're talking about a minimum of 80 receptions.
Yeah.
My fault. At least 50. So regardless, the production has always been there with AJ. I get it. He wants to be involved. So I'm not hating on his method of trying to wake up the offense and make sure that he gets involved. And if I was Devontae Smith, I would want to get involved in that too. But end of the day, for me,
he's already on pace to surpass that floor. He has 800 yards this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he has less than Smith, but like, who cares, bro? You're gonna pass 1,000 this season.
Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, he wants to be part of that getting the dub. There's a difference between and I understand that conversation of wanting to be involved in but what do you value more? Do you value your stats in the dub, or do you just value the dub? I value the dub. I don't care.
No, of course.
And I think that's where the philosophy might butt heads with him and Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts has never really given a damn about his stats.
Yeah, no, that's true. And AJ Brown also, and I can understand the reasoning of, look, these stats are a big part of my contracts. I'm going to ask for a contract extension if I have a bunch of like sub 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah,
that hurts me. I understand all that. That's not the offensive coordinator's job to worry about. It's your job to worry about. It's the offensive coordinator's job to worry about running an offense that can win games.
Yeah.
Would it be different if you had like an elite quarterback who, when passing the ball, makes the offense better? Sure, you don't. Like, do your job. That's just how it is. Like you're not going to win in this situation, and that's not your fault. It's the situation you're in. But if a strategy works, you use that strategy.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. What else has been going on that happened in week 14 that I thought was crazy that I wanted to talk about? I was actually quite upset with Joe Burrow giving that game away to the Bills.
Yeah, that was, and he had looked phenomenal up until that point, and just collapsed at the end.
Just terrible. Chargers, I'll give some props to the Chargers. I know it didn't wasn't the prettiest, but damn it, that man Justin Herbert is an Iron Man. I don't know how the hell he's doing it. Banged up, still gutting through it. Offensive line has been ripped to shreds.
Doesn't have a running back to support him anymore.
No, Amari Hampton came back. He came back the other night.
Right, yes, but like for the most of the season, he has it.
Yeah, Kamani Vardal actually has been pretty solid. I don't know how the Chargers been sticking around, but here they are.
Yeah, he's had what's been a pretty decent receiving core for the first time since having Harbaugh. Right, like nobody expected it. They didn't really draft for it, but they have like a pretty decent group of receivers now. Their tight end has looked good. Quentin Johnston is one of the players. Matt is still there. He kind of had a drop off, but he's still solid. Like this, I mean, I don't think this team is going to do anything. And not even just because of the track record, just because the offensive line is that bad. But they got a good core. They get their tackles back next year. That could be the year for them.
Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm buying into Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. The guys, he's getting them to play.
He's clearly a very good coach for sure.
We talk about fireable offenses from Kevin Stefanski for pulling Shador. Here's another fireable offense. Dan Quinn, why the hell was Jayden Daniels out there?
Yeah, that is crazy. That's a fireable offense. What are you doing? He's been injured, like 4 times this season? That had to leave the game.
Just help me out. Why was he out there?
I couldn't tell you. Like
you were 3.
You think you're going to make the playoffs? Like what is the logic? I don't understand.
You're 3-9 now, 3-10. Why is Jayden Daniels out there?
I mean, that's what I thought with Jackson Dart too. But like, this is even more egregious than that because at least Jackson Dart has been able to play games for the most part. Daniels has been torn to shreds, and they put him back out there.
Hey, did we forget that this is? Remember when he was in the game against Seattle for no damn reason?
Yep.
Hurt.
What?
So, this is 2 fireable offenses from Dan Quinn. Your future, that's supposed to be your future at quarterback in the game. That's clearly in no way going to turn to your W column. No way.
Yeah. No, and it's. Yeah. I mean, I think that he will probably be late to be fired just because he brought them to the most success they've had in.
I don't give a damn about that shit.
No, I get it, and I would probably make the similar decision as you, but I don't see The Office being like, look, we haven't been relevant since the '90s. You brought us our first really good season since then, but like, bye. I don't know. I just don't see them doing that. Maybe one more year of being bad would be enough for them.
Hey, Crafty, I'm like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean that's what has come to everybody's mind. And
are we serious right here that we just
learn from that?
We just trotting Jayden Daniels' fragile ass out here in a no-win situation again? What does winning that game do for the Washington Commanders?
Hurts their draft position. The best case scenario is hurting your draft position for them.
3-10 looks so bad on us. We need to be 4-9. Oh, huh? Well,
yeah. Why?
What? Why is Jayden? I look.
I'm thrilled that my team is the first overall pick. Like, I don't know what everybody's problem is.
I am not a fan. I am not a fan of calling for people's jobs. Damn it. Look, this is now 2 occasions right now in this calendar year that you have the jeopardy of what is supposed to be your future at quarterback in the situations that he can. And look, just like how we had the conversation about Shador, let's have that conversation about Jayden Daniels. I love Jayden Daniels coming out of the draft. I thought he was going to be an immaculate quarterback. He had a great rookie season, but I also was always afraid about the durability of his body because he always takes unnecessary hits.
Yep. Yeah, he does.
And here we are.
He got very lucky that last season that wasn't really much of an issue, but it was gonna be an issue. And I get why they decided to invest in their offensive line with that in mind, but it hasn't worked.
Whoa, crafty Southpaw. You say Washington, I raise you Atlanta Falcons.
I know one of my weaker predictions because I predicted the Washington regression. So I didn't predict it to be this bad, but I was right about the regression. Falcons, I give up. Like I gave up weeks ago on that one.
I will raise you Atlanta Falcons as the biggest disappointment.
We'll see what Penix looks like when he comes back. But I don't know.
I would. Okay, let's have the conversation real quick. I never saw Michael Penix as a first round talent.
Okay.
I thought he would. I'm like, damn, you could have got that joint in the third, bro, fourth.
But in hindsight, we know that there's a good chance that the Broncos would have taken him had they tried that.
I mean, that's fine. Look, take your lumps, man. You just gave Kirk $100 million, bro. You better deal with that shit, bro. So just
no, of course, bad management to do both. And like for the people saying like, well, Kirk was washed, so isn't it good that we had someone on the roster, a first round quarterback? It's like, no, because either it was a mistake to draft him or it was a mistake to pay Kirk Cousins. It can't be neither. Like one of those decisions was a mistake. They might both be mistakes.
One and four.
Yes, it's looking possible that both of them were mistakes.
Okay, so obviously, no disrespect to Michael Penix about the speedy recovery knee issue. Those were prevalent. Again, we following the theme of Tigers don't change their stripes. He's been having knee problems since high school.
Yep. But he's a relatively old rookie on top of that.
Yeah, he's 25, almost 26 years old. So time is of the essence that you need to squeeze out of that orange.
Yeah.
And the orange is actually partially contaminated by the time you got them.
And yeah. No, and I mean I'm of the philosophy that like if you need a quarterback and they may not immediately look like they're definitely a star, you take them anyway and you roll the dice. I think you have to because the draft has been wrong about quarterbacks so often. You know, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. Jamarcus Russell was first overall. Like they're wrong all the time. Like just this year, Jackson Dart has been the best rookie so far, and he was taken late. So you never know. But I think that this might end up just being a swing and a miss. I think he had some flashes of good play. I would give him another year. You don't really have any means for placing him anyway. So
I got you.
Yeah, they don't have another first this coming year. So I would give him another chance and then see what happens in 2027. But not looking great. And he didn't necessarily look great when he was in. I mean, he had some really good games, but he also had some really bad ones. His completion percentage is sub 60. Like, and with a pretty good supporting cast around him, which is why I bought into them. Yeah. Not good. Not good. He has crazy arm talent, and he gets to throw to Drake London, and he has Bijan right there. Like we'll see. We'll see what happens next year.
And see, and that's was really was the perplexing thing is even if it wasn't Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins, why are you struggling with these talented roster? Like, what are we doing? So yeah.
I don't think Raheem Morris was the answer either, but you know, you gotta just grab on to somebody when you need them.
Raheem. Oh, you about to fuck it up for the brothers, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if you fire him after 1 year, but
Ah,
not good results, and I don't think anybody expected good results.
Hey, look, I'm not a fan of one and dones, but damn it, I can make a case on why Raheem would be one and done.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I don't know, for him also another year. Unless someone great comes along, but yeah, 2027 might end up looking really bright for the Falcons. We'll see.
They're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Look, we normally don't talk a lot of college football. I do watch college football. I know Randy kind of keeps tabs on what's the important things.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that's been coming out, obviously, the college football playoff rankings that came out, and there was one team that was left off, and they are mad about it. So much so that they are setting precedent. Well, it's not precedent, but it's happened before that some universities have declined to go to a bowl game. But in the aftermath that they did not make the college football playoff, they are intentionally passing on a bowl game. The Fighting Irish don't look so fighty because, look, I get it. You pissed off. You didn't get the college football playoff. But hey, man, look, even if you got players opt out who got draft status, this needs to be an opportunity for your underclassmen to get some PT and put something on film and show what they can do.
Okay, so can you explain why they got locked out of the playoffs, kind of the way the playoff structure is? Why is it issue? Because I don't really understand it.
If I can't even answer that, because I don't even think they even know how this committee comes up with who comes in the 12 playoff teams. Now, there are automatic qualifiers for some like the Big Four, like obviously the champion.
Right. So it's like all the conference champions make the playoffs?
Well, the most important conferences.
All right.
And look, I'm gonna be honest. This college football bracket looks a lot like a college football 25 or 26 on PlayStation. Because no disrespect to James Madison or Tulane, I love the fact that they're getting an opportunity to win a national championship. I love it. Here's the downfall. It's going to show, if they get their ass blown the hell out, it's going to show the disparity of what NIL, what money, what facilities, what certain things do when it comes to universities. Because James Madison got to go to Oregon.
So did Notre Dame have a better record than those two teams? Is that why they're mad? Like they didn't win their conference, but they had a better record? Something like that?
Here's another issue with this, Randy. Notre Dame doesn't have a conference. They're an independent university when it comes to football.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
So anything they do is based off of how their record is set up. So it's important for Notre Dame to year in and year out is to schedule a tough schedule and win them. And because now with the playoff, 2 losses doesn't disqualify you anymore. Like back in the old days, was a ranking system and all that shit. You get 2 losses, man. You might as well call that season a wrap.
Yep.
So my thing is that if you're not scheduling ranked or tough opponents week in and week out, well, they don't have to do it week in and week out, but you need to make sure that you got some universities that's going to make a case in this situation that if I got 2 losses, but look at my wins, bro, and look at my losses. Those are quality losses. Notre Dame has to help themselves out. I know I've seen a lot of talk that Notre Dame should join a conference. Yes and no. And reason why I'm kind of stuck on that is because if you're in a conference and you're winning the conference championship, you have no reason, especially if you're part of one of these bigger conferences. You're in the ACC because they've been inviting you to come for years. if you win that conference, you're not stressing about missing the college football playoffs. You win the Big 12, you're not stressing. You win the Big 10, SEC, you're not stressing. So yes, I see why people say join the conference, you win the conference championship. It's pretty much an automatic bid. But at the same time, no. If you've been so independent for so long, and they've been independent in football for so long, and they've independently gone out, had their NBC deal, making all kind of TV money. If we really talking about if they really spent NIL money, Notre Dame could probably smack the whole NCAA football world up, because they've been eating off that NBC money for years.
Yeah,
crazy bread. And if they really, but the only problem is they're so rich into their tradition of Notre Dame being the Ivy League of the Midwest. They got academic responsibilities, and they're not letting you play on no 2.0. No, they need you at like I don't know what it is, but it's a higher grade point average that they want the athletes at. So their academic standards are not your typical standards for most universities. So unfortunately, that's going to cut off of some of your Nuck and Ray Rays who ain't got no 3.0. They scraping by with a 2.0 with hella tutors and hella help.
Yeah.
But they can 1 or 4 too, though. So, it's I get it why you're upset, but I just don't like the look of it, because it looks like you're pouting. Looks like you're bitching about it.
Which, I mean, they are.
Oh, they are. But to just we're not gonna go to that bowl game, and don't do that to them underclassmen who've been sacrificing, getting their asses up 4 or 5 in the morning, probably morning practice before they even go to classes, and then they got to go to afternoon practice.
Yeah,
lifting. Nah, man, let them give them an opportunity to play, bro.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's fucked up to hold them back over it. Like,
it's sports, bro.
Yeah, they've been fighting to get into the NFL. Like that matters more than like your
that's
ego.
Corny, bro. That's corny, bro. I don't know why they, as a whole, I don't care how they came up with that decision as a collective unit, but they should reverse that. Because have some good pride, bro. If I'm being honest. So what, you didn't get into the playoffs? But you know what? You guys started 0-2 on your schedule. All right. How about don't start off 0-2? How about you beat the team that they put in over you?
Okay. So is that why like early losses hold?
Yeah, it was week 1, and it was a close game. It was a close game, but Miami won.
Yeah.
And I get it. They're gonna look at Tulane. Yeah, they're the conference championship, but that's a weak ass American Athletic Conference. And then James Madison winning the SBC. Who cares about them? I get it, but still, they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. No. Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, it is. Look, the system ain't perfect, and it's crazy as hell. And guess what? It ain't never been perfect with college football. You can go to the BCS, and that little stupid computer that they had wasn't perfect. It had some crazy algorithms and formula they just spit out. Oh, well, these 2 teams need to play. Well, how did you come up with that? The computer algorithm. They told us. That wasn't. Before they did the BCS. You were going by a poll of who should be in, and it was, the system's never been perfect.
Right.
Trying to get to national champion, and they talking about expanding this playoff. You're gonna keep running to the same situation. Somebody's always gonna feel like they got snubbed.
Right.
You move it to 16, where there's gonna be a 17th team that feel like they got snubbed. You move it to 24, there's gonna be a 2015 that feel like they got snubbed.
Oh, everyone's gonna have something to complain about if they.
Somebody gonna bitch them on about something. Yeah. So look, it's imperfect. It is what it is. You know how you avoid it? Win your fucking games.
Yeah.
Win your games. All right.
I don't know if this might end up being the last thing that we talk about, but
Yeah.
I want to talk about it before we close out.
Yeah, please.
I know we don't normally talk about wrestling here.
Yes. I'm glad. Hey, great minds think alike.
John Cena is about to have his last match ever. What do you think of the John Cena year? What do you think about Gunther as being his last opponent? What are your thoughts over the whole thing?
Obviously, look, I've never been a big John Cena fan, right? But I will respect his career. I kind of look at John Cena as I do in the same vein as LeBron, where I respect their talent, I respect their legacy, I respect what they've done. Not necessarily my cup of tea.
Sure.
And I'm explaining real quick. I probably explained it on this show before, but I was a big Hulk Hogan fan growing up as a kid. I think most wrestling fans were. Whatever happened this year, I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different subject. All right, but so we've already seen Eat Your Vitamins, Say Your Prayers type of character. And so when you grow up with that, and then you get older, your likes change. And Hulk was still doing that bit, and it wasn't until he went to NWO that I'm like, all right, you're maturing with me.
Yeah. That's always nice, right? Like, it's always nice. Characters, art, music. Music's a big thing like that. You know who I think a lot about that? I think Tyler, the Creator, is a really good example of someone who aged with his audience. And
yes,
I think that's really cool when people do that.
And
fuck Hulk Hogan, though. But like,
so my main point to bring that up to say this is that when John Cena came, Dr. Thugonomics was dope. All right, when he did the whole rapping bit, came around the same time that Eminem was hot with the whole 8 Mile movie, and so it caught fire, and I thought it was dope. So I'm like, all right, I can relate to that. I love rap, he got nice skills, and it was cool. And as soon as he won it, they changed his character and to a different version, a very colorful version of Hulk Hogan. Eat your vitamins, say your prayers. It was just hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Yeah.
And so that's how
a pure good guy, like like absolutely pure, no gray area.
So for the generation,
there were areas where there were gray area theoretically, but like by accident, like they didn't mean
it. Yeah. But for me, it was in the same general ballpark of eat your vitamins, say your prayers. It just felt it was just a modern version of red and yellow Hulk Hogan for me. So that's why I never got into John Cena once he did the hustle, loyalty, and respect bit.
Okay.
So I look, take that aside, his overall career, obviously, he was that next superstar past Rock, past Austin to take the torch and take it to another level.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some counterparts in there. You can throw in Randy Orton, Edge, Triple H.
But aside from maybe Triple H, none of them were like the top guy. Austin and Rock, like that was Cena.
Yeah, that was Cena. We're talking about the money maker, the needle mover guy. So that was him. Sitting at the top of that merch sales, and if they had I guess algorithms like a hashtag, he'd have been at the top of that too. So regardless, I've always respected of what John Cena has brought for wrestling. Obviously, us as wrestling fans, we know that there's certain individuals that can take the sport of wrestling outside of the niche crowd, which will be us, and make it something that casuals can get into. All right, that's what John Cena does. All right, he brings the casuals into our world. All right, because he does the outside things like the movies and the SNLs and all that other shit, the commercials.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will never hate what he has done for the growth of wrestling. So I've always respected him for that. I always respected his career. I just, I just couldn't do a version 2.0 of Red and Yellow Hulk. I was just
What do you think of his retirement year this year?
I think I don't know if it'll ever come out. I think it was a lot of pivoting this year, and
Yes.
some hits and there were some misses, for sure. I'll be honest. How I really feel about this last match, I want to reserve my judgment until after I see it, but I'm actually a one of the only people that might say this. I was actually okay if they would have ended his career with that feud with Dom.
Okay.
And blowing that match up and being okay with letting him walk away with that. I get the idea. Let's have a tournament, quote unquote, to have my last opponent and let him earn it. But it's cute that you set it up like that. I just think it was because it's been a lot of pivoted because they really had no direction of that heel turn. And the crowd just didn't allow it to happen. I mean, they pretty much took it over. They still was cheering and we love you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. And all of this is because of the fact you announced your retirement. And there were a lot of things this year that I think were just thrown on because it's like, oh, well, John Cena's leaving and he's dead set on never ever wrestling again. Let's make sure he gets the IC belt. Let's make sure he gets the 17th championship. Let's make sure he gets all this and that. But the fans knowing that you're leaving, and a lot of these fans are the ones that you were their red and yellow hope to them. So they're going to eat this shit up.
So, yeah, I think that I'm one of the few people who thinks that it's been more good than bad. Personally, so I grew up with John Cena also. I grew up with John Cena because, I was young. Like, I was a 90s kid.
Yeah.
Like, I was born in the 90s. And the 2000s were when I was watching wrestling. And he was a guy. I was also a big hip-hop fan. So I loved the hip-hop character. And, I connected with him on that. I was never like a Cena hater when he started being like colorful, for lack of a better description. But like, I was always kind of like, I guess, lukewarm on him. I wasn't one of those people that was chanting "Let's go Cena" or "Cena sucks." I just I liked things about him. I didn't like others. Whatever.
Yeah.
The only time I really felt that way was because I was a huge Bray Wyatt fan. When he was burying Bray Wyatt, that's when I was like actually angry with him. That was basically it. I think that, and also look when he beat Brock Lesnar on his return, because that was bad. But I think that I haven't been watching wrestling regularly like in a while now. I've really only been watching for the Cena stuff and like a couple of other things just because I wanted, it's Cena's last year, like, it's big. And I think it's more good than bad because I'm glad that we got the Cena heel turn. I think he did a really good job with the Cena heel turn. The problem was the stuff working against him, like involving The Rock. I think most of these problems could have been alleviated by just not having The Rock be involved. Because
it was just no direction of it. Like, where y'all going with this?
Well, that was part of it, right? Like the match at WrestleMania suffered, one, because Cena looked very washed, which he hasn't since. So I'm not sure what happened that particular night. But also because everyone expected The Rock, that story, to be tied into it, and then Travis Scott showed up, and it was like, what the fuck? And it was horrible. But the heel Cena character of you hated me for so long, you don't get to just turn around as I'm on my way out and pretend like none of that ever happened. I think that was a good direction for a heel Cena character to go in. Like, it ties into real life. It does make sense. I think, once they had to pivot and immediately turn him face to fight Cody, I thought that was where, like, it really got derailed. But the match with Cody was great. He's had a bunch of great matches since. The match with Randy Orton was really good. The match with Punk was great. The match with
AJ Styles, oh my God.
AJ Styles was phenomenal.
Oh,
no pun intended.
No cap. I love when them two get together, bro, on some real fanboy wrestling shit.
I think that could have been his last match. I would not have been unhappy.
I'd have been okay with that too. If anybody that deserves to retire John Cena, it'd have been AJ Styles for sure. I'm with you on that.
Yes.
Because it was phenomenal. All pun intended. Fuck that, dog. That I went back and watched that match a couple of times after that shit went down, bro. I was like, yo, this shit.
It was so good. It was so much fun. It was great. Like the story felt like a last match, right? Because we went through Cena's whole career. It felt like a bookend, a crescendo. So
they gave it to us because the fans asked for it. They said, "Oh yeah, here."
Exactly.
I don't mind that pivot, but you know, it either has to just be a damn good match as that was, or it has to turn to a story that's gonna make a damn sense. And so, some of these pivots, I'm just like,
And I like that I think that the Gunther match is going to be great because the Gunther is great in the ring. You know, Cena has worked his ass off to make this year work outside of the WrestleMania match. He I think, like a real Ivan Drago, like brutal, like stop it. That man's 50, like as he's like bleeding. Like they could do something cool with it. That would make it a really good last match for Cena. I don't know if I would have picked him because just on the basis of you either use this to readdress a memory or you use it to build a new star. And I don't really feel like they're doing either. Scooter's almost 40. He's already been a world champion.
That man's had a belt around his waist for damn near 80% of his whole WWE career. That man ain't hurting for shit, bro.
Right, exactly. Gunther doesn't really need it. I'm sure the match will be great. I would have loved.
You said it right there. Me and the homies said that. We were like, bro, this man had the belt around his waist for so often. This man don't need to retire, John. This is crazy.
Yeah. No, and I think what I would have liked to see is if they had done a rehash of the U.S. title open challenge with the Intercontinental title and had him drop the belt to whoever retired him. I would have loved to see Obafemi be the one to do it, but like do like an NXT only, like the way that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens did. Like, so you're addressing a memory and you're also building the future new star. I would have liked that. It doesn't have to be the way that I would have done it, but I'm sure the match is going to be great. I'm absolutely going to watch it, and it'll be great. It's crazy that it's not the main event. I keep hearing that it's going to open the pay-per-view, and that's insane. Like that's the only thing. But overall, I would say I would give it a B of a retirement tour, which isn't what Cena deserves. But I think people have hated on it a little too much. I like that he got the Intercontinental title to finish that out. I just don't like when people win the title just to like a week later give it back. I would have just given it to whoever beats him in his last match personally. But I would give it a B. I think that it's been mostly good, and I'm glad we got heel Cena, and I think that he did a mostly really good job, even if the booking had issues around him.
Oh yeah, because I actually thought he actually did pretty well as a bad guy. It's just like, man, the direction of it, and then they just
rushed.
They completely bailed on it once they figured out the crowd was like, no, we're gonna still cheer for you, motherfucker.
Inherently, like, it's not necessarily a reason you have to turn him back. He was getting booed most of his face. Like you can't tie that into the story. But like now the audience finally likes me now that I'm telling them to fuck off. Like I think you could do something cool with that.
It might be a little complacency, laziness going on in WWE.
Yeah, and it was definitely rushed, right? Like they hit some good points, but they rushed them to get it into one full year.
Because I think Rocky even admitted after he was like, "Yeah, we had no direction with this shit."
Like he just wanted the heel turn for the moment, and WWE has done that a lot. They've booked things for moments rather than ongoing stories, and there have been times where it's worked. There have been other times where it doesn't work. This is one of the things that, like, if you were going to do it, you should have had a plan before the year started of where you were going to go with it.
Yeah, no doubt,
and not include The Rock. It just didn't need that.
Yeah. But hey, man, no matter what side of the fence you sit on when it comes to John Cena as a wrestling fan, I think one thing that we all can agree on, his impact on the game, his aura that comes with the name John Cena, he can't deny it. like or hate him, the man is important to the growth, just in general, what he has helped bring, open up a lot of eyes. So a lot of casuals know who John Cena are.
Mhm.
They may not know everybody, but they can definitely point out a John Cena. So, hey man, this was fun, man. As always, man, always dope to get back in the lab and cook it up with you, my brody.
For sure.
Y'all know we are. Find Randy. You need some audio needs. Answer on Acid on Instagram. All right, y'all know what that is. Hey, tap in with me. That's why you gotta hit that like, share, subscribe button. Never know when I'm dropping content on the I.O.W Sports Network. And of course, my Twitter, KCYKamar, for all the other content that I'll be dropping. So until next time, myself, Randy Weber, we are out of here. I'll let y'all. Can't see us. Hey, shout out to Tony Ayo. He needs to get more credit on that.
Facts. Yes.
Hey, I'll let y'all.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start.